Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Hey, it's May. Happy May. I don't know what that means. I don't think anything's really happening in May. it's one of those kind of, it's just a month that's there, leading us toward the next holiday, I guess. But anyway, happy May to you all. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not. And we'd really appreciate it if you'd consider donating to the channel, help support the channel. I do have links down below for PayPal and Ko-fi.com if you want to do such a thing. And we hope you do. We always love and appreciate our supporters. It's been that way from the beginning. It will always be that way. And you guys keep us going. And every donation really helps us out a great deal. You could also purchase one or more of my books. That always helps as well. It's the same thing, except you're getting something in return. So you can purchase all of my books at the link in the description down there, and that would be very much appreciated also. Now, when you come to any new country and a new culture, a lot of things are going to change for you, all right? Big things and small things. I think when it comes to Cambodia, I think in my 7 years here, I've adapted fairly well. Maybe sometimes kicking and screaming, but I made a lot of mistakes and I've learned a lot of things. But I think overall I've adapted pretty well to this environment and this culture and how things are done. And but there are so many little things that add up to the big things, right? Whether those are a lot of really good things all stacked together to make it great, or a lot of things that might make you upset, or you're having a hard time negotiating, navigating around. That might be a little frustrating. But it's like that anywhere you go. Everybody experiences it, I think, when they move to a completely different culture than what they're used to. And all of these might not apply to everybody. Some of these things, as a matter of fact, you might find not bothersome at all, and you might pick up on them much better than I have. But there are still some things here that I struggle with, and small things, and nothing catastrophic, nothing that makes me wish I was back in the United States or anything. Because y'all know I love Cambodia. I'm gonna live here until I die. But yeah, there's still some things here, even after 7 years, that I either can't wrap my head around, or just different ways, different things they do here that I find a little bit frustrating at times. Not angry, not upset, not raise my fists and yell and scream and howl at the moon mad, but you know, just makes me shake my head and go, oh, why don't they do these things different here? But this isn't a complaint video. This isn't me going, these are things that are horrible here. I'm just saying these are things for me personally that I've struggled to adapt to. And they're all little things. And as I said, it might not be your things. All right. But and I would say the first thing is the learning the Khmer language. Learning to communicate in a way where they understand you. Now, I don't know enough Khmer to have a full-on, full-speed conversation with a local, but I know enough where I hear people talking in the Khmer language, and I pick up on certain words and phrases, and I know what they mean, so I can kind of have a gist of what the conversation's about, you know, even though I might not know how to reply, because their sentence structure is different, and I struggle with that. But here's the thing that I still haven't gotten my head around, that even the words I know, if you don't say them exactly correct, not just close, but exactly correct, a lot of times people will not know what you're talking about, even though you're fairly sure that you're saying it the right way. And people will say yes. Other people will go, yes, that's how you say that, yes. And then you go to like buy something at the store, with something you learn, and they're just looking at you like, I have no idea, because they will not try to figure out what you're trying to say. They'll just shake their heads, I don't know. You know. And yes, Google Translate is good for that. If you're doing one or two simple sentences, Google Translate is your friend. Usually does a pretty good job. But for anything more than that, things get lost in translation. There are many words in the English language that don't translate to Khmer well. Here's a little tip for you. If you do use Google Translate, say what you want to say in English. The Khmer translation will come up. Copy that. Then go back, start a new chat, change it from English to Khmer to English. Paste in that phrase, and it'll give you the exact English translation, the way they are going to read it or hear it locally. And you'll find if you do that, you might notice that some of the things you said didn't translate well, or didn't quite get the idea across, and you might have to go back and revamp what you were trying to say, you know, edit it a little bit. But I found if you speak in short sentences, the easiest words you can to get your point across, that usually helps. So Google Translate is good for that, but sometimes it just doesn't have the what you need to get it done, to get the job done right. And it can be frustrating when I'm at the store and I know what I want and I know how to pronounce it. There's you know, that sterilized milk single I likes. It's a Tadako Chow. That's the way I say it everywhere, and a lot of people understand, but sometimes I'll go and they'll just be, I don't know what that is, and I have to walk into their shop and point at something and say this, and they'll go, oh, Tadako Chow, and I say, yeah, Tadako Chow, and they go, no, Tadako Chow, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're saying the same thing here. You know, and I'm just like, oh. But like I said, they won't even, if you're mispronouncing any of the syllables, they don't generally try to understand what you're trying to say. Like if you were coming up to me and you're an English learner, it's not your first language, you're struggling with a word. If you say it a few times, in my mind, I'll be trying to process that, try to figure out what you mean, and then say, oh, do you mean this? And yes, that's what I mean. But they don't try here. They're just like, man, I don't know what you mean. So keep that in mind. But there are some great Khmer classes. You can take them in person. There's a channel I listed down below. The guy's name is Dara. He's a Khmer teacher. His English is really good also. And he has some great lessons. He has a bunch of videos, and they'll really help you learn everything you need to learn, even the basic words to get along, like what time is it, where's the bathroom, how much is this, I want to buy, and you know, different Khmer words for different food items. Yeah, so it's a really good channel. I've learned a lot that way, and so I do recommend it, and there's a link down below if you want to check out his channel. And there are in-person classes you can take as well. But yeah, the language can be kind of frustrating, the language barrier, when you're trying to have a conversation, trying to get your point across, and not knowing exactly how to do that. And the second thing, and I love to eat the local food. The more local, the better. But man, their packaging sometimes. Everything is like in plastic bags, right? But they tie the top of the bag so tight that sometimes I struggle to open my food when I get home. I just want to go home and eat. But they have these knots they put in these bags, and I understand why, because they don't want it to spill, and if it does, they don't want you to get messy, and if you're going to set it down, you don't want ants to get in there. I understand all that, but it's like there's got to be a better way here, because I struggle with those knots. I don't have fingernails, and I'm trying to get one thing loose, and come to find out it's from the other end of the knot, and I'm just making it tighter, and a lot of times I just wind up getting out my little knife and just slicing open the bag and dumping the things out onto a plate. I'm like, I don't want to deal with this right now. I'm just hungry, I want to eat. And they got these bags, usually when you buy something to take away, they'll put all the sauces or little salads or whatever in a bag. Like when you buy your sugar also at the mom and pop stores. They put them in a bag, but they got a rubber band they'll put over the top to make it really, really tight, and then they put a knot in the rubber band. So it's like a double whammy. Like, I can never get my fingers underneath that rubber band to try to undo it. It's very frustrating for me when it happens. It's one of those things where I'm really frustrated when it's happening, but then when I'm done and I'm happy, I don't even give it a second thought, because it's going to happen the next day. I know this. so it's just one of those things that's one of the little things, you know, that frustrates me. I'm like, oh, don't put it in, just leave the bag inside, man. You take the rubber band off, I'll hold it shut, I'll carry it home, and I'll put it in a container on my own. But yeah, just things like that. You know, the food stuff. I am not proficient at all with chopsticks, and you'll get chopsticks in most places around here. Now, more than likely, they'll also have spoons and forks and things for it at the markets and all these restaurants. But you'll still see chopsticks everywhere, and if that's all they give you, it's like, okay, gotta sit there and try to pick up a bowl of slippery noodles with chopsticks, and I'm getting like 2 noodles at a time, even though I want a big scoop, you know. So I lift the bowl and I just kind of, I basically, all I got is chopsticks, I lift the bowl to my lips and then I basically shovel it. I'm using the chopsticks like a shovel from the back. I'm just shoveling in the scoops instead of trying to pick it up, because my chopstick skills are not good. I've even watched videos on how to properly use chopsticks. Believe it or not, they have videos for that. And I can never get my fingers to do the things they're saying, you know. It's I don't know. So for me, but I know other people who are quite proficient with chopsticks, like, and I'm always jealous of them, but I'll keep practicing, man. Never give up. One day I'll learn how to use those chopsticks for good. I'm telling you, I will. And I'll record my achievement when that happens. But another thing, another small thing, and there's a cultural reason for this. When you're talking to people who don't understand English that well, and you're asking them a question about something, and it could just be a yes or no question, they're going to answer yes, even if they don't understand the question. And they do that because they don't want to lose face. They don't want to appear dumb or unknowledgeable. And they're also trying to save you face, because that's why they generally don't ask you to repeat yourself, even if they didn't understand you, because they think that might signify to you that you weren't communicating right, and so you might lose face. And saving face in this country, like in a lot of Asian countries, is very, very important. It's extremely important, the hierarchy here, to not lose face. And but a lot of times that can lead to some miscommunication, and you know, you ask somebody a question and they say, oh yes, 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 and then, well, if the answer should have actually been no, then you find yourself in a situation you might not want to be involved in. You find that a lot with tuk-tuk guys. Hey, do you know where this is? And then you show them on the map, and they go, oh yes, 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 I know. And then they start taking off in the opposite direction, and you have to be like, oh no, we're going here. And he goes, oh, he'll turn around and go, oh yes, yes, I know. And he has no idea. He has no clue where to go, and so you're going to have to do a lot of the navigating there. Telling them when to turn, where to stop, all that good stuff. But again, it's nothing it's not a deal breaker or anything, but you might have to ask 2 or 3 people to get the right answer to your whatever question you might have. Maybe it's about how to pronounce something. You know, they don't want to make you feel bad by saying, oh God, my accent sucks. So they'll just look at you and go, oh, that's good, that's, you know, going back to the language thing. A lot of times I think people say, yes, you're pronouncing it correctly, when I'm not, because they don't want to feel bad about it. But I wish they would, because you don't get to right unless you go through wrong. If you're never wrong, how do you know when you're right? You know, I'd rather know when I'm wrong, and so that I can make it right next time. But yeah, it's those little things like that that sometimes can be a little, make me a little flustered, you know? But then you have to balance all that with how awesome it is to live here. Not only for the low cost of living, that is a very significant benefit of living here. But I try to kind of warn people, if that's your main motivation for living here, you might find yourself not too happy after a while. I think those are the people that tend to get more homesick after a while, because they have these dollar signs flashing in their eyes, how much money they can save on their Social Security by moving here to a country where their apartment's $100 a month, you know, and the food's extremely inexpensive. But you know, you do have to take all the rest of it into consideration too. And you know, sometimes people like that, they get a little bitter sometimes, and they start resenting the country, and those are the angry old drunks you see sitting at the bars 24/7 complaining about everything. And we don't want you to become like that. There's too many of those already. Matter of fact, a joke around here is that how many expats does it take to change a light bulb in Cambodia? And the answer is 4. 1, to actually change the light bulb, and 3, to watch them and complain about how much better their light bulbs were back to where they came from. Yeah, and that's about accurate. Yeah. And the fact that that's a joke around here is like, it gives you a little bit of insight of how some locals have seen these things from foreigners, and it kind of bleeds over. They think everybody's like that. So I find it's important to let them know I'm not complaining. These are just minor inconveniences that I go through, and some of those could just be on me. Like, it has nothing to do with the country or my culture or anything like that. It has to do with the way they do things that I have to adapt to, and some of those things, you know, there are things here that not everybody is going to adapt to. I mean, I might eventually, but I mean, I'll probably still cuss and swear every time I try to open up one of those little bags of the rubber bands. Because that's become a much part of my life, is going to get my food, you know. I'm gonna have to go home and get this rubber band out this freaking bag. It's gonna take me 10 minutes while my food gets cold. Or maybe one day somebody will teach me in just the right way, and I'll learn the secret to, because I can give it to a local and they have it open in like 5 seconds, and I'm like, I don't understand. I don't understand. There's a trick to it, I know. I just don't know what that trick is. That's what I'm saying. Like with the chopsticks, that's a trick. I know how to hold them because I watch the videos, but I just can't. I'm not coordinated enough, you know. I'm a mess, man. But anyway, what I'm going to say is everybody's going to have those things, those quirks, those little annoyances, but don't let those sour you on the whole country or the whole all the people here. Because as always, you've heard this a million times, and I'll say it a million more times because of how true it is, but the people here are simply fantastic. They're some of the nicest, friendliest, welcoming, giving people I've ever met in my entire life. And I am old, so that's saying something. Like a young person saying that, I'm like, well, you haven't met too many people. You know, you're 22, it's your first time over here. Yes, they're nice, I know, but the nicest people you've ever met in your life, I'm like, well, that, you know, your high school buddies and maybe your college pals, that's, you haven't met too many people, man. But I can say that they're right, as an old guy. That they're awesome. And combined with everything else this country has to offer, including the low cost of living, again, that shouldn't be a priority, but it is a significant factor for a lot of people. That and the people And the fact that you can live, no matter what your budget is, no matter how small or how big, you can live here. Whatever kind of food you're into, you can find it here. And if, you know, you go out to some of these villages and you want to feel like a superstar, all you got to do is be a foreigner. Because some of these small villages, they don't get visitors, foreign visitors. And trust me, you will be noticed. Kind of makes you feel like a superstar for a minute. Everybody wants to talk to you. All the kids are running up to you. And yeah, it gives you a little ego boost that everybody needs once in a while. Like when you get a good review on your book, you're like, ah, yeah, that makes it worth it, you know. Somebody read it and they got it. Yes. It's kind of like that. All right. Thank you guys for watching. And be sure to check out all my links down below. I have many, many links. You can check them out many, many times. And from Siem Reap, Cambodia, I will talk to you guys in the next one.